Hello students. Today we are going to learn about rural development approaches in India. Rural development in India in 4 stages we can classify that. So pre-independence era, the rural development during the pre-independence era, which is from 1866 to 1947. Post-independence era falls between 1947 to 1953. Community development and extension service era from 1953 to 1960, and intensive agricultural development from 1960 onwards. So Gandhian era constructive work includes village self-government, self-reliance and self-help, reinforcement, the strength of volunteerism, cooperation and mutual aid, decentralization, non-violence and moral action, then development of village crafts and village industries. So according to Gandhi, all these 5 work will improve the rural community. Whatever the aspects essential for improving or developing the rural area, these 5 points of Gandhian constructive work will help. Early experiments in India like the scheme for rural reconstruction, economic conference of Mysore, then Gurhan experiment, Sriniketan, then Sevagram Matandam project, Government of India Act of 1935, then Indian Village Services, Firka Development Scheme, Etava Pilot Project, then Gauri experiment, Grow More Food campaign, or the pre-independence work that has been carried out for development of the rural area. So the weakness of the pre-independence rural development experiments are the attempts were mostly based on individual initiative inspired by humanitarian consideration. So what is lacking is here that it is not felt by the overall community. It is a person who felt that it is a unmet or unmet need of the community. So they came up with the experiments. So the mostly based on individual initiative, inspired by humanitarian considerations. Government backing and financial support was not forthcoming in sufficient measures. The attempts were mostly isolated, uneven, and discontinuous. So it is somewhere, not throughout the nation. It is somewhere in some part of the nation, and it is uneven and it also discontinuous. The staff employed was inadequate, inexperienced, untrained, and hurriedly selected, ignorant of local conditions, who could hardly command any respect or influence in the village, or some of the weakness of the rural experiments. So the objectives were the other weaknesses are follows. The objective were ill-defined or lopsided in the development. Little attempt was made to study the particular condition, as I told you earlier. They made it is a inspiration, a spark come out of an individual. In spite of the felt need of the whole community, the person has felt the need, that it is needed. So this is the major weakness. Then plans, programs and organizations were lacking, weak or it is unbalanced. Parallel programs of supply, services, guidance and supervision were not developed. Just what if it goes wrong? What you are going to come up with the plan B? So such things are not there. And when we are run out of the supplies or services, what? That's all. alternative plan was not there. The need for proper methods and skills of approach to the task was not fully realized. Research and evaluation was lacking in those years. Association and coordination with the other development departments was very limited. Since if it is a development of the rural area, it involves all the administrations from health, infrastructure, technology, communication. So such a coordination with the development departments were limited. The involvement of village people in thinking, planning and executing village development was not properly achieved. From the results of the past efforts, that public participation is an integral part of any program for its success. This can very well be brought out by extension education only. So, post-independence. Post-independence development focus on economic betterment of people, greater social transformation, increased participation of people in the rural development programs, then decentralization of planning, better enforcement of land reforms, greater access to credit facilities are the new innovations that have been incorporated in the post-independence development, which we can say that from capital-centered approach to people-centered approach. So, community development program was launched in India after independence in 2nd October 1952. The basic elements of community development program were focus on individual cultivators, then restructuring and reorganizing district administration, provision of facilities for agricultural production through cooperative and block agencies, then welfare facilities at the block level. Community projects covered an area of about 150 to 500 square miles. 300 villages and a population of about 2 lakhs are to be covered by each project. Divided into 3 development blocks. The areas are being divided into 3 development blocks. Then village level work, in those days they are called Gram Sevaks. Basic level extension functionary is in the community development program, is the village level worker. So again, though they come up with the innovative ideas, still there are drawbacks of the community development program. Uneven distribution of the benefits of the program. Then absence of clearly defined priority in the program, because though it is from centralized to people-centered approach, there too priority in the program was not clearly defined. The inability of the community development program to recognize and solve the inherent conflicts in the inter and intra-target groups. Then participation from the people was lacking. More bureaucratic central planning response of the government of create local institution did not succeed. So, though it was aimed from central approach to people-centric approach, it has failed. Without dismantling the power structure in the village, the devolution of authority and the democratic decentralization. So, all these results in the drawbacks of the community development program launched in 1953, 2nd October. Democratic decentralization, that is Panchayat Raj system. Then the team was headed by Balwant Rai Mehta, Chief Minister of Gujarat. So what he recommended, this Balwant Rai Mehta committee have recommended effective administrative decentralization for the implementation of the program. Then elected and integrated local self-government system, ordinarily of three-tiered bodies from village level to block level and then to district level. So village, block, then move on to the district. Remarkable awakening among the rural people, as a result of which villager became conscious of his own right and developed the urge to improve his living standards. So this is what the Balwantrai Mehta committee have observed, and they have given it in the recommendation also. So through this, the shift in the rural development strategy moved. Like food situation become alarming. A strategy in favor of increasing agricultural production was given importance. Institutional credit flew more towards large and resourceful farmers. So this is what the biggest drawback till date. The credit system is more favorable to large or medium-sized farmers and not to the small farmers. So this is still existing. Neglect of small farmers, landless laborers, tenants and artisans. So it's there from 1953, I think. Led to the accentuation of regional disparities, economic inequalities among different sections of the population. So, though we have a separate ministry for rural development, and this is still existing. That is, regional disparities there, economic inequalities is also there, in spite of so many programs being launched by the government. The objectives of integrated area development program is to achieve rapid increase in the level of agricultural production through a concentration of financial, technical, extension and administrative resources, then to achieve a self-generating breakthrough in the productivity and to raise the production potential, stimulating the human and physical process of changes. So again, there are shortcomings. Like staff were not clear about the methods to reach the cultivators. Then posting of staff was not adequate and timely. Workshops, seed testing and soil testing laboratories were not functioning to the required level. Cultivators were not using insecticides, fungicides and seed treatment of their own. There were problem of communication, lack of action research was there. Very little progress in animal husbandry and fisheries, then stereotyped farm production plans, little participation by women in the program. So again, another shift in the strategy after facing all that drawbacks. Shift in the strategy, deliberate effort to flow development benefits to the poorer section and backward area as schemes were launched. Small farmers Small Farmers Development Agency, Marginal Farmer and Agricultural Laborers Agency, Minimum Needs Program, Drought Prone Area Program, Desert Development Program, Hill Area Development Program. So Area Development Program, Backward Area, Command Area, Drought Prone, Hill Area and Tribal Area. So Green Revolution has started implementation of land reform, active participation of peasants. So record grain output of 131 million tons in 1978 to 1977. So by 1980, India attained self-sufficiency in food with a surplus of about 30 million, and it has created plenty of jobs. So biggest agricultural producers it has a record. So cooperative movement helped the peasants to sell their products, played a key role in making the Green Revolution a success. Operation Flood, Anand model and the things which we will discuss in the coming up chapters in detail. So integrated rural development program is another approach for the rural development. Then TRISM, which again we will discuss in the coming up things. Ministry of Rural Development has the following programs for the rural development, like Rural Connectivity Program, Jawahar Gram Samriddhi Yojana, Employment Assurance Scheme, Indira Awas Yojana, National Social Assistance Program, Swarna Jayanti Gram Swaraj. Swarojgar Yojana or the plans that has been implemented by the Ministry of Rural Development. So earlier this Ministry of Rural Development was known as Ministry of